Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Foucher is back.
Annie Thorisdottir has shown the CrossFit world that the queen of consistency is back.
Julie Foucher is pulling away from the rest of the pack.
But Annie says, wait a minute, I'm going to reel you in, and she's making up ground. And Iceland Annie Thorisdottir is the first to the barbell.
And it's going to come down to the wire. Can Julie Foucher do it?
And Annie Thorisdottir trying to pick up the pace. This is your race, ladies and gentlemen.
Julie Foucher.
And Annie Thorisdottir. And you're about to feast your eyes on CrossFit Gold.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Pat Sherwood, breaking down the top contenders on the women's side of things at the 2014 Reebok CrossFit Games. And you just saw the two ladies who are considered the heavy favorites to be atop the podium. And no surprise that it's Annie Thorisdottir and Julie Foucher.
Any conversation about the podium needs to involve those two ladies. And what's extra cool this year is we didn't get to see either one of them compete last year, so all that's doing is building more excitement.
Let's start with Annie Thorisdottir, who missed last year because of that back injury, and despite that, you look at her resume and you understand why she is the favorite here, or one of the favorites. Two-time champion, 2011 and 2012, second in 2010, 11th as a rookie in 2009, and she's won her region every year she's competed in it, and her return has been highly anticipated.
If there was maybe just one question mark around Annie, that would be, how's the back? That's what kept her, she tweaked it last year, didn't compete. Everything we saw at regionals, everything she's posting on social media, she's lifting big weight, she appears to be just fine.
The other favorite is Julie Foucher. She missed last year as well, but not because of an injury, because she was going to med school. Foucher has had impressive performances at the games, most recently a second place finish in 2012, fifth then in 2011 and also in 2010. She was first in the Central East region in 2014 and in 2012, and we watched her at regionals, and she looks like she has not missed a beat whatsoever.
I was very curious to see how she's been spending her time. Was it all study and no working out? Because I think that the last time I saw her compete at the big show, the games in 2012, she took 27th on that heavy med ball clean parallel handstand push-up workout. It went terribly for her. Right. So when we knew that it was handstand push-ups at the regionals this year, I was excited to see how she did, and she won her region. So she spent her time wisely.
Thorisdottir and Foucher, the favorites to sit atop the podium, but who are the other athletes who could join them up there in the top three?
I got some pretty badass ladies for you. Starting with Valerie Vobril. She won the SoCal region. Then Alessandra Pacelli, she won NorCal and damn near made the podium last year. Telena Fortunato, Southeast, didn't win the region, but don't let that fool you. She's going to kick ass at the games. And then finally, Jen Jones. Last 3 years, whatever region she's competed in, she travels around because she's a nurse, she's taken first place.
I don't know why we failed to learn our lesson about Valerie Vobril.
We're
Finishes
slow
third
learners.
at the games, but then going into regionals, I don't think she was necessarily the favorite. We thought she would do well, but then she goes out and wins the thing again.
Shame on us. Valerie Vobril, incredible athlete, won the SoCal region. This will be her 5th time at the games. She's been third twice. Absolute model of consistency, and she's had 5 top 5 finishes at the games last year.
Northern California, you mentioned, is Sandra Pacelli. She barely missed a spot on the podium last year as a rookie, and now she has another year of experience under her belt.
Pacelli, first, NorCal region, and the ladies competition up there is strong. Like you said, almost made the podium last year. She's won her region the last 2 years in a row, and she had 5 top 10 finishes at the games last year as a rookie.
Yeah, and Telena Fortunato, you mentioned her in the Southeast, always has to be in that conversation because she has that athletic ability that lets her excel at that unknown and unknowable element that we get at the games.
That's what she does well. Yeah. Here's the deal with Telena Fortunato. Just because she did not win her region, don't be fooled. Emily Bridgers beat her, but I guarantee Fortunato will beat Bridgers at the games. She has a collegiate gymnastics background, and last year had 7 top 10 finishes.
And the final woman on that list was Jen Jones, and she's a little Valerie Vobril-ish, if that's a word,
right,
in her ability to fly under the radar, but she's putting up impressive performances.
Yeah, she needs some respect. This will be Jen Jones' 3rd trip to the games, and quite frankly, I give her my most improved award. In 2012, she was in 28th, and last year she moved all the way up to 6th. And what I was so impressed with about that is every time I talk to her, I'm like, okay, what a huge jump. the events must have favored you. And she said quite the opposite. I didn't think that they did. So just imagine if those don't favor her and she takes 6th, what happens if it's even middle of the road?
A lot of impressive women on that list, but also some impressive names that were left off of it. And let's start with a woman from Australia, Cara Webb, someone who could have won the Worldwide Open if she hadn't have mailed in one of the workouts.
Yes, and I think Cara's going to do well, but just be outside the podium. This is going to be her 3rd appearance at the Games. She's got a swimming and soccer background, and her times and loads at regionals compared to the world, incredibly impressive. Some of the long events hurt her last year, the long row, the 2007 chipper. She's strong in the water, took 7th in the pool, and as far as we know, we started the beach this year, so if it starts off in the water, Webb could be off to a great start.
Next person on that list of 4 was Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, who had a very impressive performance at regionals.
An incredibly consistent performer. Camille will be making her 5th trip to the CrossFit Games, but there's always something that just keeps her from the podium. Won her region, she's a former gymnast, but here's the deal. I think she is one of the best classic CrossFitters in the world. You give her a named workout, a benchmark workout, she will stomp you into the ground. When things tend to get a little long, specifically running, think Pendleton, think the Burden Run, Naughty Nancy, they fall apart a bit. But I'll tell you what, she has been running her ass off. She's got Chris Henshaw as her running coach, so she should be better than ever.
And finally, a woman who, on paper, looks like she has all the skills to be in that conversation with, as far as the podium is concerned, is Elizabeth Akinwale.
She does have the skills, and there's such a big difference between like bursting into the top 10 and being on the podium. This will be Akinwale's 4th trip to the CrossFit Games. She's had 2 top 10 finishes, her best being a 7th. She'll have a strong year again, but the pool, slightly longer events, Burden Run, Naughty Nancy hurt her last year. She's one of the sharpest athletes out there. She knows that's what hurt her as well. I feel she's going to be better than ever, but so is everyone else. And given those facts, I think she's going to be just outside the podium.
Well, it will not be long before we get this thing kicked off in Carson. It's going to be an absolute blast. That's it for us today. For Pat Sherwood, I'm Sean Woodland, and we'll see you next time.